Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com. This is kind of a different sort of dogfight. Instead of comparing two devices, I'm going to be comparing two operating systems. Speak slowly and enunciate. I'm going to look at text entry using the virtual QWERTY boards on the iPhone and Android OS 1.5. So this is iPhone OS 2. Android OS 1.5. This is running on the T-Mobile G1, which obviously has a physical keyboard underneath, but I want to look specifically at the virtual QWERTY board. Why? Well, one of the things about iPhone that's always frustrated me is the lack of a hardware keyboard. The virtual QWERTY board is pretty good, but there are some things I don't like about it, including the fact that you can't do widescreen text entry when you're writing an email or a text message. That's going to change in iPhone OS 3, which should come out officially probably next week at Apple's WWDC conference, which I'll be at, live blogging, Monday, June 8th. Check it out, 10 a.m. Pacific time on PhoneDog.com. Anyway, Google just released Android 1.5, or I should say T-Mobile just pushed it out to G1 owners in the US. HTC and T-Mobile both made announcements today about something big coming by the end of June. HTC is going to have a big launch event in London, June 24th. T-Mobile said the next Android device in T-Mobile will be coming out soon. I think it's going to be based on the HTC Hero, a touchscreen only Android phone, slimmer, no physical QWERTY board, hopefully a custom HTC UI, kind of like TouchFlow 3D. But anyway, point being, these are two of the most popular, easiest to use smartphone platforms out there right now. And as I was playing with Android 1.5, I was struck by some things about entering text using the virtual QWERTY board that I thought were pretty cool, and I think kind of are actually better than iPhone systems. So I figured, you know what, let's break it down dogfight style, head to head, check them both out. So here we go. Alright, so iPhone on the left, Apple iPhone running the Apple iPhone operating system version 2.2.1, and the T-Mobile G1 on the right running Google's Android OS version 1.5. And again, I know the G1 has a physical keyboard, but because I don't have an HTC Magic here, or an HTC Ion for that matter, this is the phone I have, so I'm going to be looking just at the virtual keyboards here, because I want to look at the experience of entering text on both phones, because I think it's pretty interesting. So let's look at the iPhone first, and the new version of the software, version 3, that will be coming out soon, will let you enter text in the widescreen mode when you're doing emails and SMS messages. The version that I have right now doesn't do that, but that's okay. So you're entering text, and you can see the multi-touch keyboard is great. The key recognition is pretty good. And you can see here, the auto text correct corrected as I was going. I think it was the word over that I typed wrong and it corrected it. But then when I left, instead of lazy, L-A-Z-Y, I typed L-A capital Y by accident because I hit the shift key instead of the Z. Didn't correct that. And then sheep and dog is supposed to be sheep space dog. And didn't correct that either. Now, it doesn't give me any sort of indication this is misspelled. It doesn't give me a highlight with an option to change it or anything like that. It just there it is, and I have to recognize, oh, okay, I spelled stuff wrong. I have to go back and correct it. As I'm typing, it gives me suggestions, and I can also, of course, click and hold, get the magnifying glass, drag around to where I want. So go over here and just erase the N and hit space. One of the things that's always frustrated me about the iPhone is that it's difficult to add words to the dictionary. So for instance, my initials are NK, so I often sign things NK, and it always wants to correct it to JK. So, I have to go in, and what you do is you go and you hit the little X by the suggestion, and then it leaves it for you. But it's funny because JK is often shorthand for just kidding, so I'll write NK at the end of an email, but it'll correct to JK, and people will be like, oh, he was just kidding about the whole email? Well, that was stupid. So, one of those little things. What you can do, actually, is you can go into your contacts menu, and you can add a fake contact with a word that you want the phone to recognize. So there was a joke that went around the internet for a while about how you can make your iPhone write swear words by going in and entering various swear words to your contacts list. So I could actually go in and add, NK as a contact, and then it would keep it for me, and not always want to correct it to JK. Now with the Android, the OS 1.5 Android, when you enter words on the virtual keyboard, you get autocorrect suggestions. And I really like this. You get a whole bunch of different suggestions, and you can scroll through them, and you can choose the one that you want it to be instead. And you can go back, and it didn't give me. And as you type, it'll also autocomplete for you. And so I think the potential's there to go a little bit faster in your typing if you're able to kind of, as you're typing, look and see, oh, it's saying brown, and I'll just choose brown. Fox jumped. So that one it didn't really know. As I'm going over, it sees it. And so just different ways to enter your text, and also it also doesn't keep the highlight. It'd be nice if it kept the highlight there after I moved on, so that I could go back and easily see, oh, I typed lazy wrong. But instead, I like to see the highlight there all the time. Doesn't do it. Oh well. Here, I typed in, instead of sheep, I typed in out, which, I'm not as dumb as you might think, because actually if you look at where the letters in sheep are, they're not that far off from out. And I've got a bunch of different suggestions. So actually if I was trying to type sheepish, at this point, it would save me a couple of steps by not only correcting out to sheep, but also offering up sheepish, or sheepskin, sheepdog, sheepishly, sheepfold, all those things, as possibilities for me. So again, I kind of like this. I think it's a nice system, a little bit better than the iPhone system, a little bit more, the iPhone in a lot of ways, and this is definitely one of them, is made for the mainstream consumer. And so it's just trying to give you like a very smooth experience, and the autocorrect software is very good at guessing what you meant. But when you get into, lots of for a casual user, it's fine. You get into doing lots of typing on the phone, it can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're not as accurate with the device as you might like to be, like me, for instance. The Android system, a little bit more sort of, at the same time, a little bit more powerful, and then also a little bit more forgiving if you're not a super accurate typist, but you type a lot, and so you wind up, wanting to use lots of names or shortcuts or things like that, it might not recognize. It doesn't autocorrect them for you, but rather just gives you the suggestions for autocorrecting, which I tend to prefer just a little bit. I also sort of like that there's a smiley face button, which is kind of fun, but then also if you hit menu while you're typing, you can insert a smiley, and then you get a whole bunch of different smileys you can choose from, which is just kind of fun. Not a big deal, but kind of fun. You can go into the widescreen mode, and it's a nice big keyboard. Same thing here with the smiley button, the menu button. We'll look at iPhone's widescreen mode. iPhone's widescreen mode, again, on this version, version 2, only available on the web browser. It will be available on the email and texting apps in version 3, which will be out shortly. The the iPhone has a little bit bigger screen, so the buttons are a little bit bigger. You don't have a space bar on the URL entry field. If we go to the Google entry field, now you have a space bar. It's a bigger space bar. A few more options on the G1 here on the Android, because you've got the menu key. But overall the typing experience on both is pretty good. I'm going to search for Phone Dog Noah, and it knows Phone Dog because it's in my my address book, as it does Noah. We'll type here, delete all this. Both phones, obviously, when you click on a button, on a virtual button, it pops up to show you what you just hit. So we'll do Phone Dog Noah. So, again, pretty good experience of both phones. The multi-touch display definitely helps. The Android keyboard is going to be a little bit different depending on what device you have as new devices come out. If you've got a device that doesn't have a capacitive multi-touch screen, or if it's not a good quality one, that's going to be an issue. The G1 has a pretty good screen, so that definitely helps. So overall, again, I think I prefer the Android 1.5 text entry system just because the autocorrect is a little bit more versatile. I like the way it offers up completion, you know, autocomplete suggestions unless you choose, or corrects unless you choose, as opposed to iPhone, which kind of corrects for you. But, you know, both definitely good. I've heard from a little birdie, we'll call it a little birdie, telling me that HTC is actually working on their own autocorrect system. I guess for that, you know, that customized hero build that's coming out, that's supposedly going to be even better than this one right here. Than the standard Android 1.5. Sorry, I got caught up in what I was doing. So that'll be pretty cool to see. Hopefully, you know, that'll be out soon and we'll get to check it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to declare the Android 1.5 the winner of this virtual QWERTY dogfight, just because a little more flexibility. Smiley face icon's not a big deal, but it's kind of fun. But the autocomplete, autocorrect system, for me, and I think for, you know, again, for the casual general user, the iPhone is fine. It's not like the iPhone's bad. But if you use the phone a lot, you kind of know that you have to go back and correct things, especially if you make up your own words, use shortcuts. It can be kind of a pain. And just a little bit more versatile, a little more, you know, user-friendly, I think, on the Android 1.5 release. So there you go. There's your winner of the virtual QWERTY competition dogfight, Android 1.5. All right? Much, much more. You can check out our own Phone Dog John. Did a bunch of stuff on the Android release and the HTC Hero leaked build and all that stuff. So definitely check his stuff out. He's the Android man at Phone Dog. But I'm, you know, myself, I'm trying to keep abreast of everything, and I've really enjoyed playing with this new release 1.5. Lots of other features, camcorder, you know, voice search, all kinds of stuff. So you should definitely check it out on Phone Dog, or if you're a G1 user, download the update as soon as you can and play with it. Definitely worth your while. All right? Lots more on Android, on iPhone. The new phone's coming out. June's going to be crazy. Again, Apple's WWDC conference, Monday, June 8th. I'll be there live, 10 a.m. Pacific time from San Francisco. And HTC's got something cooking on June 24th in London. I might be there. We might have somebody else there. You never know. You have to stay to find out, all right? We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Much more over on PhoneDog.com. Bye-bye.